I want to assure members that this issue of aggregation and having industrial hubs in every county is going to be at the heart of my ministry and in the Kenya Kwanza government. Now, attendant to this also is we have not been fair to our people. Expecting a dengue farmer from Marimanti to know of a market and to know who is a buyer from that market and start trading with them is not realistic. So coupled with our aggregation centers that we are going to set up in the counties, we want to set up warehouses in key markets. And we have agreed with the president that we are doing 2 pilots of Kenya warehouse. Call them Kenyan supermarkets if you may. It's like a supermarket but uniquely and exclusive for Kenyan products. One in DRC, in the eastern part of DRC, so that if you are a dengue farmer from Marimanti, or if you are, you export another product, you can be able to take your product from your county aggregation hub to the Goma or Lubumbashi or Dubai, where we are setting up the other Kenyan warehouse, and so that now from that Kenyan warehouse we can be able to sell locally, even through e-commerce to those countries. That way we are going to simplify the trade process. I have no even idea how we have been exporting. Chair, you'll be shocked to know that we only have 18 trade attaches in the whole world. These are the people who are supposed to support us in the matters trade and to support our exporters. Africa, with all the opportunities that I've talked about, we have only 8 trade attaches. We do not have a trade attache in Nigeria, a market of 200 million people. So if I'm approved by this House, I am going to ensure that we have got more trade attaches and trade missions than we have ambassadors. Because what we need is people to help our people to open new markets and to assist and support our exporters in this endeavor. So short answer is that we are going to say that. Honorable Mukami, I know there's a problem of budget for trade. Trade has not been treated very well. I do hope that now this parliament, under the leadership of the chair, is going to look more favorably when we come asking for more budget allocations to support trade. All these manenos that I've talked about of trade, of manufacturing, of export, turning to the question by my good friend Honorable Magufuli, the Honorable Wanyonyi, sorry. I normally visit him in his village. He's my good friend. Right. So all this question about manufacturing, about trade, is going to add to jobs. So we cannot get jobs by kneeling down and saying a prayer, much as we are a religious country. We have to manufacture, we have to export, and we have to support our people. So the sum total of all that is going to be more jobs. And as I've said, we are going to decriminalize enterprise. We are going to really prove and show that every hustle matters. And we are going to do this as national government, but also sit down with the national government, with the county government, to ensure that this is done. I should say, Honorable Rahim, that DRC is one of our most promising markets for Mira and Mogoka. And I'm saying that Mira and Mogoka because if I leave it to Honorable Rahim, it's only going to be Mira. But I also have a lot of presentation from people from Embu and other counties that we do open this market for DRC. Not yet, but it is immense market and huge market. So once this market is open, we are going to ensure that Mira is also not only processed but get into this market. Finally, on the issue of how can we help our people to manufacture. Kenya is the only country where we expect someone to come up with an idea, and we expect them also to have good management, and also we expect them to have the money. In other countries, it is enough just to have a good idea. Somebody else comes with good money. Under my ministry, we are going to avail business capital and credit for anyone who wants to do manufacturing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Everybody will ask, so don't worry. Emase, Amishi, Emase, Raso, Amisi. We start with Mishi. Oh, Mishi is not...
No, with me.
You are ready? Okay. One question each, please. I'll start with Mishi.
Okay. Yeah.
Then Emase, then Raso, then Amis.
Thank you, Chair. First, I want to say thank you to the nominee because of giving us the information regarding Dongokundu Special Economic Zone. I want to inform you that it cut across Mombasa and Kwale, in fact, in my constituency. My question would be, currently we have seen so many manufacturers opting to leave Kenya because of overtaxation, increase in cost of production, and even uneven environment in terms of business. Again, we have seen our informal traders in our counties, or rather our cities, they've been harassed, and also the issue of taxation. So how do you intend to collaborate with the county government to ensure that you intervene on this matter? And again, how are we going to ensure that we are bringing back the manufacturers? A good example is the Sensodyne and Panadol, which they left this country because of the so many reasons I've just mentioned. So what will be your intervention to ensure that we lure more of them to come back to this country so that we can create employment and then it can be game changer in our economy? Thank you.
Honorable Emase.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The nominee for trade, you realize that our products from the neighboring countries, especially agricultural products, have flooded our markets. And sometimes our farmers are forced to sell their produce at very low prices. A case in point is the issue of sugar, which is one of importation of sugar, which is one of the factors ailing the sugar industry and has contributed towards crippling our industries in the western region like the Mumias Sugar Company and others. Now, my question is, how do you intend to open and develop new markets for Kenyan products in addition to the traditional ones? And I mean local, regional, international, and in the spirit of bottom-up, so that we have markets even in areas that need markets. With the anticipation of the Hustler Fund, would expect us to open more markets in our villages so that those mamambogas, the borders, they receive a market from within ourselves. And I'm glad that you mentioned the issue of exploring other markets in the region, like Congo with 100 million population, Ethiopia with 121 million population. So if we leverage on our bilateral, friendly bilateral relations, then I think we should be able to open so many markets and therefore create a market for our produce. Thank you.
Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Moses, mine is about the high cost of doing business in Kenya, particularly in terms of licensing. That if you want to invest or open a radio station, commercial for that matter, actually it is placed way out of the ability of an ordinary Kenyan. And these are among the many investment that Kenyans can do. I also heard you talking about Ethiopia. As we are talking, Ethiopia is a big market, but the problem is the border. Right now, the Ethiopian border at Moyale is closed, and yet it is a very vibrant area that a lot of exchanges of goods, money, even the opening of Safaricom has opened a new avenue for Kenyans and Ethiopians to do business. Finally, you are also an entrepreneur and a first rater for that matter. We are looking east, but also we are doing a lot of things in the west. And also there is a market within the Middle East that a lot of Kenyans are putting their money there. From where you sit, where should Kenya eventually look to get better value for money and also to allow the growth of SMEs? Because I think a lot of goods in the West are not affordable to the ordinary Kenyans. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Amisi.
Yes, I will revisit this issue of African Continental Free Trade Area. As much as we agree it's a milestone in trying to expand our African market, but when you revisit the European Union, the establishment of the European Union trading blocks has its own merits and demerits. As much as it increased the overall performance in terms of trade of the European countries, it results us to Brexit. And of course, the reason is this kind of asymmetric relationship where one country feels that it is being eaten more than it is receiving. Are we learning, as much as we are progressively going towards the African free trade agreements, which some countries have even shied away from ratifying? Are we having lessons learned from Brexit so that it's not repeated in this new ventures? What are these lessons we learned? How can we approach this African trade, free trade continental area as a country so that we don't
and we have committed ourselves to sit down as a government to look at what we can be able to do, because our current policy, if you look at areas like tea, is actually incentivizing not manufacturing, not value addition. It is much easier and much more profitable to export tea which is not processed. So just tomorrow, the president is expected to outline our manufacturing agenda for the next 10 years in a public event. And if I would just say that the issue of if you want to manufacture in Kenya, you are going to find a friend in the government of Kenya. If you want to make Kenya a dumping ground for goods from all over, then you are going to be in for a very rough time. So this is a discussion of how do we use our taxation policy to ensure that we remain competitive. Of course, one of the things we are offering, and we are having that discussion with KRA, is that us as a Ministry of Trade, we are going and manufacturing and investment, we are going to be at the forefront of helping to expand the tax base and to help in rationalizing and making efficient policies of how to collect tax. In return, we expect that once we increase our tax revenue, and we are going to do that because we want to embark on a system of voluntary tax payment by our business community. The culture of weaponizing our KRA is over. Instead of weaponizing KRA, we are working to ensure that our business community voluntarily, through an efficient tax system, they pay taxes. In return, we'll be asking that some of the areas where we can be able to reduce our taxes to spur manufacturing, then we can do that. Of course, and I want members to have indulgence of members in this area. We are bound by the East African community, the common external tariff. So what we do still is, our hands are sort of tied by the EAC protocol, and more significant by COMESA, because we COMESA goods from COMESA countries like Egypt, which have got much lower cost of production, they are supposed to, they can enter into this market duty-free within the COMESA setup. So I am cognizant of that, and I'm aware that we have to look at those factors which are making goods, especially from countries like Egypt, to be more competitive. Nowadays, we are even complaining about Uganda. I think if our grandfathers wake up, they will be shocked. How can Kenya start complaining about Uganda? What happened? I was in Uganda the other day, and I was talking to the Trade Minister of Uganda about eggs. I come from a county that is known for exporting, for producing eggs, Kiambu County. And we told him, look, our farmers are complaining that because of your eggs, and this also answers to a question by Honorable Mary Amasi, that we are not getting a market for eggs because of floods from Uganda. And the Minister of Trade of Uganda told me something very profound. Every week, Uganda imports 1 million day-old chicks from Kenya. 1 million. So we are very good in producing day-old chicks. So these chicks go to Uganda, they become mature, they lay eggs, and then we refuse the eggs. And he was asking me, how can you refuse eggs from your own chicken? Because they are coming from us. And the answer is very simple. It's about our cost of production. That is why sometimes when I get surprised about people who are opposing our policy on GMO, because only GMO is going to level the field between us and Uganda. As long as we continue to oppose GMO, we should not complain about Uganda, because Uganda, every centimeter of Uganda is arable, and so the cost of production is much lower. And that speaks also to the question of sugar. We have got 3, 4, 5 sugar companies here. There are 17, Mr. Chairman, sugar companies in Uganda. So unless we look at the issue of efficiency, the issue of competitiveness, the issue of the cost of production, then we are not going to help ourselves much. Egypt is another major problem. Let me not call it a problem, but challenge, because it is clear that